Okay, so this is just a quick screencast here to show you guys how this first page should look. So in your directions here, you open up your text editor. You need to copy and paste this doc type statement. You need to get everything that's in green there. And you have to put this on every page, your doc type statement. I don't expect you to memorize it, but know where you can get it. From this page, or once you copy and paste it correctly, you could always get it from a previous page. Then you're going to key in these 8 required tags in this order. Okay. And then between the title tags, you're going to give the page a title. Page 1 would be appropriate because this is your first page. Then between the two body tags, you're going to need to write a minimum of 3 paragraphs to write a new ending to the fairy tale you are already familiar with. For example, if we used Cinderella, what if the slipper didn't fit? You could use any other fairy tale that you're familiar with, or children's story, and rewrite it in 3 paragraphs, so abridged, with the new ending. And then finally, we're going to save this, and I will go over that in this video. Okay, so now we're going to go over to Notepad++. Alright, so you can see up here I have my doc type statement in. I have keyed in my 8 required tags there in blue. The reason they are in blue is because up at the top I came up to language and down to H, and I set my language as HTML. If I take that off, let's try something. If I take that off, it changes. Okay, so if you set your language in Notepad++ to HTML, your tags show up. And the other thing is, if you click on the first tag, its pair matches up, and since tags come in pairs, you can find your errors. And look right here, I see an error because if I click on my head tag, there is no end head tag. So now it is correct. So real important to use Notepad++ or Text Wrangler because it gives you those visual clues. Alright, in this case I only wrote 3 lines, but I separated them to look like 3 paragraphs. In this assignment you need to write 3 clear paragraphs. Alright, so now to save this, File, Save As. You need to, I want to make sure that I'm in IT Essentials, then I'm in my public HTML, and I'm in my basic HTML folder. Again, it doesn't matter if your lettering doesn't match mine exactly, but when we get to the next step, or when you set your folders up online, it must. Okay, so now we're going to save this. Because I changed the language here in Notepad++, it will automatically add the .html. All I have to do is give it a file name, and remember, you must know this, file names cannot have spaces in them on the web. So it looks like there's a space between my E and my 1, but there is not, and I already saved this once. I'm just going to replace it. And that's how you're going to create your first page. Okay, welcome to the start of weeks 3 and 4. I'm going to start this week by looking at last week, session 1, or week 2 of the semester, where you had to set up your folder and directory structure on your computer. We're going to start off this week by setting it up online. Your last assignment, if we look at last week, was to take a quiz and turn in the URL for the site you set up. Right now, though, that site you set up has nothing on it. So what we want to do is you want to log into your web host area, and I'm on the 6TE server. So I'm going to go from the free web hosting area homepage. You choose member area, and then it lists each server, and I'm going to go to the 6TE information, and we want to use the web FTE. So if you click on that, you get a little login screen. You need to put in your FTP server. You need to put in your username, which is your whole URL, and then you need to put in your password. Okay, once in. Now your site's not going to work exactly like we want it to in the end for a little bit yet, but not a problem. So what you need to do here is you need to, and I'm going into where I have my folders created. Here are my folders, basic HTML, and I think in the video I may have had an underscore. It doesn't matter as long as you follow a couple of rules. One, absolutely no spaces in folder or file names that go on the web. Web servers just can't handle that. Same thing, no spaces in file names that go on the web for the same reason. So inside of each of these is an images folder, and inside these two are also styles folder. So what we want to do is set those up on the web now. So I'm going to have this screen open with those names, only I'm going to move it over to my other monitor, so you guys won't be able to see it anymore. If you don't have two monitors, I'm going to suggest you adjust your windows so you can see them, or write them down, because they have to match exactly. So at this point, online, my root, if you notice right here it says root, I'm inside my root folder. On a web server, your root folder is equal to your public HTML folder. And many web servers would call it that. Okay, so now you'll notice you have some buttons across the top here. Remember, online folders are called directories. On your computer, we tend to call them folders. So now we need to create these directories online. So new directory. And you'll notice I can create more than one at a time here. So I'm going to do, mine is basic HTML. I also had basic HTML underscore project. And case counts on this, in this situation, whatever it is on your computer at home, it must be that on the web. I also had CSS, and I had CSS project. Then I click the green check mark, and it has created all those directories at once. I can go back a page, and there they all are listed. Now I need to go into each one and create my images folder, and I'm only going to do that right now inside of basic HTML. So I'm in basic HTML, it tells me that right here. I'm going to click on new directory again, and I'm going to type in images. Hit the check mark, back, and I can see inside of basic HTML there's now a folder called images. Now if I want to get back to my root, I would click here. Now there will be directions in the session on how to upload your pages, but remember, if you want them in this folder, basic HTML, which is where you're working right now, you need to click to be in that folder before you start uploading. Okay, just to go over what's left the rest of this week in sessions 3 and 4. So I'm going to move to that. Session 2, weeks 3 and 4. All right, a couple of things. First of all, this session I didn't want to split up into 2 sessions, so it will take you 2 weeks to complete this session. And assignments are due either Wednesday the 4th or the 11th. And if you check the list, pages 1 and 2 are due on the 4th, pages 3 and 4 and the quiz are due on the 11th. I haven't filled out this schedule yet, but I will do that before this session goes live for you guys. Okay, so a quick look at that. I'm going to just kind of go down the list here so you know what's coming up. 8 required tags. You need to learn them and memorize them in what order they go in. Building your first page, I take you through that step by step. There's a video there to help you out as well. publishing, there will also be a video on this page. And then you're going to turn in your link to your first assignment. I will post this as a discussion board because if you put it up there right, it's really easy, and then it's a good place for me to say, oh, this isn't working, you need to go back and fix it. And in this class, I expect you to go back and fix everything until it's a work. And in most cases, it'll take you 3 to 5 minutes to do that. Okay? Adding structure to your pages and your second page. So these are all due by the 4th. I know it says 125. That's because I imported them from another class. But I will change those so they say the 4th. Then you're going to do your pages 3 and 4, and those will be due by the 11th and those dates. And then there will be a quick quiz. So that should be the next 2 weeks in this class up through September 11th. If you guys have questions, you know where to find me.